What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. We got some more news involving Leonardo, but it's not the news that you guys are probably looking forward to. It is a progressive event that's happening tomorrow for this Doorkeep's Path. So the Doorkeep's Path, that you guys don't know, is the Hero's Path that's happening this weekend, and we will have the opportunity to get the 3-star Perfect Soul for Granyt and the 4-star and 5-star Split Souls for Granyt as well. Titan points will be in this event, as well as some relic materials and other goodies. But yeah, anyway, so we do have that Hero's Path, and we do have a progressive event that's happening tomorrow. So let's check that out here. Right here. So as you can clearly see, Leonardo will be part of the Void 15x progressive event starting tomorrow. I don't know if Plarium is like trying to troll us or something, but man, they are nasty. They are nasty. Anyways, so Leonardo 15x progressive starting tomorrow. So that means if you pull a Void legendary, there are basically 15 Leonardos in that pool for the Void, and yeah, you have a higher chance of pulling him. Keep in mind that the odds of pulling, Leonardo from a 15x, so one specific Void champion, is somewhere around 17-18% when it's 15x. So it's not, guaranteed or anything like that. But then we also have some non-voids here that are actually pretty good. Obviously, you guys would agree that they're pretty good. We got Newt here, Fural, like Newt, one of the best PvE champions in the game, non-void legendary. Fural, probably one of the best, boss champions in the game, or boss killing, or boss enabling, boss damage boosting champions in the game. Ultimate Death Knight, very good, one of the best login champions probably ever. Michinaki, super flexible. Hydra champion, and then Lanthier, which is an old fusion but not as good as the rest. It's still actually not too bad on his own. So first of all, let's talk about Newt here. I think this guy is probably one of the best fusions of all time, if not the best fusion of all time, or at least the most impactful one. Arman's is probably, second or first ahead of Newt. But the big thing about Newt is that he has the triple max HP slam here on the A3. This one is the boss killing ability. He also has the A1, which makes the hard Fire Knight much easier to deal with. And I know this guy is a massive prize for anybody that picks him up. And he is an account changer. So if you guys are pulling shards, he's a pretty good one for the non-voids. And then after that, we have Fural, like I said, one of the best boss enabling or boss damage enabling champions in the game. Where is he? There he is, the Christmas tree. But yeah, he brings the Perfect Veil, which is really good for Chimera trials, increased resistance as well, good for trials. He brings damage enabling or damage boosting passive here. He also brings block buffs for like Hydras, which is really good. And then he also has decreased speed as well. This guy is absolutely insane. If I picked him up, he would be a direct upgrade from my Owella, from my Titus teams and stuff like that. So he would be a massive pickup. Not gonna lie, I have basically selected him for my 15x many times. I've never gotten him. For non-voids, the chance of getting one specific legendary from a 15x is about 4.5%. So the odds are definitely not very favorable, but it's still higher than any other event that we currently have. But Fural's gonna be up for grabs here as well. And after that, we do have Ultimate Death Knight. Ultimate Death Knight was a free champion, a couple years ago, and he was immediately goaded because of his crazy passive here, where he basically soaks up all the single target hits onto himself. And then he has passives that basically just keep him alive. He has healing, stat boosting. He has ways to CC you, which is provoke, and then AoE fears. I still use my UDK to this day. One of the most popular builds for Arena is just 6-piece Stone Skin, make him super slow, so then he's always going to have his Stone Skin on, and then just let him soak up the damage while your other team, to buy your team some time so they can do what they need to do. He's also can do some solo content as well because he's so hard to kill. Yeah, he's a great champion. Doesn't require books to be super effective as well. After Ultimate Death Knight, we have Michinaki. So like I was saying, he's a super flexible Hydra champion. He can deal damage. Very powerful A1 here, counter-attacking with his passive that allows him to continuously pitch in damage. He has an AoE decreased defense on a 3-turn cooldown, and then he has AoE Hex and a Strip on a 3-turn cooldown as well. Like I said, he deals quite a bit of damage. He contributes to HP burn. He has hex damage as well. Great for Hydras. You can build teams around him because he brings very relevant debuffs that all Hydra teams want. So technically you could have 3 of these guys and be okay because in 3 Hydra teams, if you don't have anything better or crazy teams, then this guy's gonna fit right in. And then lastly, for the non-voids, we have Lanthier. So Lanthier, I think he is. Yes, there he is. High Elves. High Elves. He was a fusion not too long ago. I feel like maybe this year. He was very forgettable fusion. I don't know what was happening, but it feels like most people probably maybe skipped this guy. They weren't feeling him at that time, but he's actually decent for Hydra, bringing AoE decrease speed with weaken on a 3-turn cooldown. Very useful here. He pitches in some damage by always counter attacking with his 2. And then he has an A1 that places Hex, but it also places increased crit damage on himself, which makes him a target for the Head of Mischief. He also has a weird passive or unique passive here that ignores life barrier and ally protection. So basically, he can help free your champions if it gets eaten or if your team's in a bad spot. He's defense based. He can pitch in a little bit of damage, but from this list here, I would say he's probably the worst non-void legendary here. And now we're going to talk about the void legendaries, and of course we have Leonardo up for grabs from the Shadowkin. Defense based void affinity damage dealer. Obviously I would say the best champion from this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle collab. And of course the source of a lot of this kind of anxiousness towards Plarium. Hopefully we will see a guaranteed Leonardo sometime in near future before this collab ends. He is an exclusive champion right now, but I would say the likelihood is that we will see a guarantee for Leonardo. Just we don't know it. We don't know when. Probably closer to the end of the collab. They did confirm that the events were happening. Just the dates were not correct. At least that is what I gather. But honestly, until we get like official confirmation, like I'm not, I'm not gonna hold my breath. But I think likelihood is that we will get a guarantee for Leonardo. 1600 base defense on a defense-based damage dealer is awesome. He brings ignore defense on a double hit on the A1. He has self-buffing, so increased defense so he can buff himself. Ally protection, counterattack unkillable on himself. And then he brings this big slam here, and it scales off of buffs on both teams. Now this is not something that happens all the time. Most on your own team, not both teams. So very, very good scaling ability here. And then if you have any turtles on the team, he gets some additional bonuses here. Yeah, he greatly benefits from the turtle bonuses. But this ability is very, very strong. And then he has a passive here that kicks in when he drops below 50%. Stone Skin pops on, which is very nice. This Stone Skin is strippable because it's not the set Stone Skin. So keep that in mind, guys. If you guys didn't know, the Stone Skin from the set gives you the 50% protection against getting stripped off. This one is basically just a buff, so it can be stripped off. So it's not as crazy as the set version of the Stone Skin. He's a great champion. Check out the showcase I did on him. He plays very well with the turtles or without the turtles. So it's just by himself. He can be very good. And he plays very well with a blessing or without a blessing. So he's just a general good utility damage dealer. So he is up for grabs. Like I said, 15x right now. It's about 18% chance to get the specific Lego that you're looking for. Honestly, yeah, it's the best chance you have at getting a specific champion, but it's still not a great chance. So after Leonardo, we have another big draw, for baiting your shards, and that's going to be Klaazag. Again, I did do a showcase on this guy. Make sure you guys check it out. He is cool. He is cool, and he has a crazy, crazy kit. He has an A1 that lands perfect fear against bosses. It cannot be resisted. True fear. True fear. So this is the big version of the fear. He also has a debuff transfer here, which is, it's good. It's good, but it's not anything crazy. But his A2 is absolutely crazy. On a 3-turn cooldown, he double hits, lands decreased defense and weaken. It cannot be resisted by bosses. And then he lands decreased accuracy and decreased resistance, and it cannot be resisted by bosses. technically, this ability, if you're using him against bosses, you don't even need accuracy on Keyhulk, and he lands all 4 of these. It's absolutely insane. And I would say it rivals Lydia as the best AoE decreased defense in the game. Yeah, I think Lydia's is still better just because Lydia does bring, the relevant buffs on top of the debuffs. But Keyhulk doesn't require accuracy against bosses, which is really nice. But yeah, it really depends on where you're using him. And then his A3 here is equally insane. On a 4-turn cooldown, counterattack unkillable on everybody, and then taunt on himself. And then they are protected when against bosses. So now you don't have to worry about Hydra stealing your counterattacks and all that stuff. And yeah, this is a wild ability. This is like crazy. Protected, unkillable, protected counterattack. There's probably ways to kind of abuse this unkillable, like protected unkillable at some point. Who knows, right? That's really hard to deal with. You can't strip this off. You can't kill through it most of the time. So if there's a way to basically cycle Keyhulk constantly on a 4-turn cooldown, you could theoretically have unkillable up all the time. So there's probably ways to abuse it. I haven't really thought about it too much, but definitely seems viable. And then he has a passive here that pitches in some damage. It's kind of like a hex, but he pitches in some additional damage based on the amount of debuffs on the enemy. So this contributes to quite a bit of extra damage for him. Personally speaking, when I tested him, his multipliers were not great. So I would not build him in your best ignore defense damage gear. Even though he's kind of, built out kind of like a damage dealer. He's got the boosted crit damage here. But not going to be used for damage. But he will pitch in some damage with his passive. So as a support champion, he's going to, help you guys out, deal some damage, land some crazy debuffs, land some crazy buffs, and then land True Fear. So the big thing for him is that he's pretty crazy against Chimera, but from my testing, he is not as easy to build around as it looks. And Lydia is pretty hard to replace. But anyways, yeah, so that's Keyhulk. He's a big draw for sure. I would definitely be looking for. I was thinking if they put I don't know, if they put some kind of guarantee champion to try to drain your shards a little bit more, this guy would be a big draw. I think this guy would probably get a lot of attention if he was like a guarantee or something. Like 120 void guarantee for this guy would be pretty nuts. I think that would get a lot of attention. Yeah, he's a high value void champion, and he's an Ogren tribe, which really needs help if you don't have very good Ogren tribes. But yeah, he's going to be up for grabs as the 15x here. And then lastly, we have Khan the Branchbreaker. So Khan here from the Orc faction here. Orcs. This guy. So his damage is interesting. On his A2, his damage is actually based heavily on how big the shield is on himself. So putting a big shield on him to basically start the fight is very impactful. He also has a block revive on his A1, which is probably one of the best things about his whole kit. And then he brings some self buff and team buffs here on his A3. His passive here does allow a little bit of a Doom Priest passive where he removes one random debuff, but it's only from himself. And then after the 4th turn by this champion, he does gain increased defense. And he does have some defense boosting passive here. I mean, yeah, it's for 4 turns. It doesn't seem like he's made for arena or anything like that. But he does hit okay if you put a big enough shield on him, and the block revive is very useful. The thing about him is, yeah, just requires a lot of setup, not a lot of payoff. He is Void Affinity, which helps. He was a Deck of Fate guarantee not too long ago. One of the few Void Legendary Deck of Fate guaranteed champions. I think him and Fatalis were the only 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But yeah, I remember his guaranteed Deck of Fate, and I said, no thanks. I passed on this guy, and honestly, I don't really regret it. But yeah, so he's going to be up for grabs for this 15x progressive event happening over the weekend. Other big notable here is actually Godseeker Aniri. So Godseeker Aniri obviously is your ticket to a Sand Devil 25 farm. If you guys are super struggling on that, Godseeker is really, really helpful. Opens the door up for that dungeon. And hey, that's going to be it for the progressive event this weekend. Now, how many people are going to be tackling this Hero's Path? I don't know. I mean, if you're still interested in April, then going for the Doorkeep's Path on the weekend makes sense. You can only skip 250 points. Keep that in mind. And there's probably going to be a bunch of points in this path, so you probably will be participating, at least picking up a little bit. Keep in mind that next week there's going to be a bunch of points as well. I think if you have the kind of energy capacity, probably you'll be participating in the Dragon tournament. You'll be finishing off the Dragon tournament. You'll be finishing off the training tournament. It's going to be an Ice Golem tournament as well. So all of that energy going into those dungeons will contribute towards the path. So hopefully you guys can scoop up some of the Titan points along the way. And yeah, like that's about it. So keeps you in the running for April if your plan was to go for her. Otherwise, I mean, unless you're planning to use Granyt, it's probably going to be a full skip, right? Like a 5-star is going to help him, no doubt. No doubt it will help him. Accuracy is great on him. He's going to do more damage if you want him to do more damage. A higher blessing would be useful. And he's a good champ. He's a good champ. A lot of people saying he's a bad champ. I don't think so. I mean, if his fusion happened at another time in the year or another time in raid, everybody would be going for him. He's a good fusion, right? AoE decreased defense block buffs, relevant buffs as well. Yeah, he's a good champ. But obviously during a collab where we're trying to store up some resources to get the collab champions, he's kind of a passable champion, like if you're after the collab champions. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the news today. A little bit of a troll job here from Plarium with the Leonardo 15x instead of a Leonardo Path event. But, it is what it is. They're going to be milking these collab champions in these progressive events for the next couple of weeks. The collab ends on November 13th, so just keep that in mind. We still have time for the guaranteed events for Leonardo, Raphael to still show up in the game. I still have a very high belief or confidence in that the guarantee events for them will happen. It's just we don't know when. But until then, just keep saving those resources. And having these events delayed is, potentially a good thing. It just gives you more time to save up resources. But I would be extra wary to expect the obvious. So the obvious would be shards for Leonardo and his soul in a Hero's Path type event, perhaps after the Titan. But we also have to save our other resources too, like soul stones. We have to save them, right? You never know what they're gonna do with the resources, and soul stones and shards are probably one of the more limiting ones. So make sure we maintain a healthy stockpile of those resources. Anyways, guys, you guys are all caught up. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, what your plans are this weekend. Thanks for watching until the end. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.